bay or a memory?
Your history with it?
Oh, my history only goes back 24 years, but since I've lived here, my husband and I are boaters, we cruise, and I would say that some of the best times I have are out on the water. That's my therapy. It's a lot cheaper than therapy, and I feel like when I'm on my boat out on the bay, I am on an island all to myself. And even if it's one overnight or two overnights, there's just something very peaceful and very restorative about it to me. And I'm biased, but I think some of those beautiful waters are right here in Talbot County. We have some rivers and some anchorages that are just, you feel like you're a million miles away from everyone and everything.
Absolutely, I agree. So do you think it's important that we save it, and what kind of steps do you take steps to kind of help preserve it?
The steps I take are, I think, just what I would call responsible living. I don't use, in my own home area, I don't use fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, anything. I recycle everything I can. I buy local as much as possible. I try and live, I wouldn't say I'm completely sustainable, but I'm doing things. I don't buy domesticated animals unless I know where they come from. Fortunately, my husband hunts, so he fills the freezer with that kind of stuff.
That's great.
So yeah, that's about it. Oh, and I donate money to Chesapeake Bay Foundation.
Awesome. You brought up hunting. That's a really interesting thing that we haven't talked about before. And I personally think that we need to think about the whole picture of where we live and every part of it. And hunting is part of that culture. And do you think if more people hunted, we do have kind of a deer problem, so it's not exactly like they're an endangered species. Do you think that would be a good thing for people to think
Absolutely.
about that way?
On so many levels. First of all, let me say I wasn't raised in a hunting culture. I'm from New Jersey. I hate to admit that. My husband is the only guy I've been with that is a hunter, and initially it took me somewhat getting used to that. But when I look at it from the standpoint of someone who wasn't exposed to hunting growing up, so wasn't super comfortable with it, I say the animals have one bad day. As opposed to animals, in confined feeding operations that have all bad days, that are tortured and then killed. Plus, as you said, deer are a nuisance here, mainly because of us, because we force them out of their habitat. But they're an excellent food source. They're healthier than any kind of domesticated animal you can eat. And I think a lot of people would eat less meat if they had to go out there and shoot and field dress and process a deer. It gives you an immediacy, like, oh yeah, that cute little thing is now in my freezer, Absolutely. So yes, I would support, especially responsible hunting.
Definitely.
Real quick, a couple more questions. You got one, Susie?
Well, you said you've been here for 25 years or 24 years. How long? What kind of changes have you seen over those years in the bay?
You're gonna have to edit this. Too many assholes moving in.
That's a great answer.
Talk about the science. How with the science and the farmer, how do you think, just from what you know about the situation, that they could work together to make sure that both of them are in our future when it comes to the bay?
I think education is, I feel sorry for farmers because they are stuck between a rock and a hard place. They've went their whole lives doing the same thing that their fathers and grandfathers have done. They're tied into a commodity crop system that is very hard to break away from. They are owned by the chemical companies, because Monsanto makes the seed, they make the Roundup, they make everything. And it's hard to just break away completely. I mean, certainly complying with best farming practices, they can do some of the things to prevent runoff, but if you think about it, it's got to take a total shift in how they think about food and where the food goes. I mean, most of the stuff grown here on the shore does not feed people. It's all commodity crops, and it all goes to feed animals, mostly chickens. And unfortunately, they've invested all their time, their land, their equipment, everything in that. And for them to shift, it's going to take a lot of education and a lot of support from non-farmers. I don't think farmers are bad guys who say, I'm going to go out and pollute the environment, but I think they're stuck in ways that are harmful and antiquated.